Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. Okay, SuicideBoys. I don't even know how I'm going to do this review. I honestly don't. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to start talking and let's see what comes out. And if it sucks, I'm going to delete it. And if it's quasi-interesting, I'm going to upload it. But I don't even know how many views I'm going to get on this thing. But I am going to give you my review of Grey Day 2025, which is a tour put on by SuicideBoys. On the poster, or whatever you want to call it these days, it had a bunch of artists, but not all of them played. So for this night that we went to last night at T-Mobile, a guy by the name of Joey opened up, and then Germ, and then Night Lavelle, and then SuicideBoys. So it was 4 acts. Dragged is the wrong word. I was happy to take my girlfriend to this. She's been waiting for it for a long time. She loves it. She loves this genre. She loves them, and they came to town, and I have dragged her to many shows. I'm trying to, in full disclosure, she's a lot younger than me, so we have very different tastes in music, which, again, I'm only saying this because I think it's interesting and it's important for the review and what a guy like me who's 49 thinks of SuicideBoys versus someone who's in their 20s. So it's important. So I've dragged her to many shows where she doesn't even know who the hell she's seeing. She doesn't know whose grandfather she's seeing, and she does it with a lot of alcohol and a big smile on her face, and does it for me because she knows I'm having a good time. So every now and then I got to do it for her. So SuicideBoys, tried listening to their music before. She's tried playing it for me, and not my style. Not my style. What genre it is? We were talking about that on the way home. I don't even know. It's some form of, like, they're like their own thing. It's kind of like a horrorcore, maybe rap, a little bit of trap, hip hop. It's got to, I'll give them that. When it comes to uniqueness and authenticity, they're really doing their own thing, and I'll give them that. But let me start with the opening acts, because she really wanted to go see Night Lavelle, who I've never heard of. I've heard of SuicideBoys. So we got there as early as possible. So I never really talk about the opening acts, but they were interesting. It was funny. This guy Joey started off, I don't know. He just sounded completely 130% auto-tuned. I mean, I don't know. He laid on the floor for one of the songs. Like, him and his DJ just went to bed on the floor. I don't know. All those opening acts sounded exactly the same to me, which is a big problem I have with current music, especially this kind of music. Every artist, every song to me sounds almost identical, and it probably has something to do with auto-tune, and it probably has something to do with them buying beats, creating beats. I don't know, but you know what, they were playing T-Mobile Arena. These guys collectively, I'm sure most people there for SuicideBoys were playing T-Mobile Arena, and it was pretty crowded. So as much and whatever negative things I want to throw out there, I can't. They're winning. They're winning. So I always take this shit with a grain of salt. So Joey was, I don't know, I'm just going to leave it as interesting. Germ seemed to fire up the crowd. He was kind of good, but he also, to me, just sounded like 1,000 other people I've seen at other shows, at opening acts. I've seen on TikTok and YouTube. There's nothing other than his name that separates him. I hate to say it, but I'm going to stand by my guns on that. Back in the day, in the music we grew up with, the Rolling Stones didn't sound like the Beatles. The Beatles didn't sound like Rod Stewart. Guns N' Roses didn't sound like Billy Joel. Like, everybody just sounded different. And I know it's a different generation. I get it. But yeah, I don't know. They all sounded great. Everybody was the same, like, hey. Everybody had the same lines. Turn to the crowd. Open. They would point to the pit, and there was a lot of pits going on, mosh pits, which is great. I always love that. And they're like, open that shit up. Open that shit. Like, the lines they were saying were just repetitive. It just, I don't know. To me, the crowd didn't seem to care, at least when it came to the openers, who the hell was on stage. They were just moshing, and they were having a good time to the beat, because these beats sound the same no matter who's playing. And that was my take on it. But let me tell you something. It's great people watching. There was a guy dressed like a banana in the pit. There was a guy dressed like a tomato in the pit. These kids, whether it's drug-induced, drug-fueled, whatever you want, I don't know, but they looked like they were having the best time, and they didn't give a shit who was on stage. There was a guy 2 sections down from us, this tall, skinny dude, who had a like ski mask pulled all the way down like he's robbing a liquor store for the entire show for 4 hours and just dancing his ass off by himself. Didn't fucking care how stupid he looked. Didn't care who was watching him. God bless him. Good. I'm happy about that. You know, these things don't bother me. I'm just giving you my take as a 50-year-old guy going to this kind of show. Anyway, Germ was all right. Night Lavelle, she had played me some stuff before. He had this real like that horrorcore that everything sounded like it was out of a Halloween movie, and it was kind of cool. But I didn't think he was anything special. You know, it was all right. It was cool. Again, the crowd didn't seem so into him as much. Germ. They seemed to like more. He was all right. He was all right. Anyway, SuicideBoys came on. That's when I felt they advanced immediately to a different level. They were but that usually is like that with opening acts. Sometimes you get an opening act, you know, they're almost as good as the headliner. But SuicideBoys came out, and immediately I saw the difference in the stage setup, the difference in the quality and the production. You can just hear it. It was better. They had better beats. They were better rappers. Two guys, I don't know their names. There's a bigger guy and a smaller one. I'll call him that. I think that bigger dude is super fucking talented. He is an excellent rapper. I think they're both incredibly passionate. They gave a speech towards the end of the show. I don't know their history. I don't know their hits. I don't know anything. They gave a speech towards the end of the show about how they were rock bottom and they were drug addicts and they were suicidal and they tried to kill themselves, I think they said, and they just pulled themselves out. And you know what? Looking around the crowd, that was the only time this crowd just stopped and listened. And I think these kids these days kind of need bands like this that are positive, that are like, don't give up, you know, life gets better. And I think it's pretty good. That I'm going to give them a lot of credit for. I'm going to go through their set list, and then we'll talk about the set list because supposedly they didn't play a lot of their biggest songs. Seventh or Saint Tammany, Self-Inflicted, Chainbreaker, Carried Away, Oh, What a Wretched Man I Am, Us Versus Them, I Want to Believe, The Number You Have Dialed Is Not in Service, Misery in Waking Hours, Drugs, Hoes, Money, etc., Gray, 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 Champagne Face that Germ came on, they did together. They also did My Swisher Sweet, But My Sig Sour. Now and At the Hour of Our Death, 1,000 Blunts, which I think is one of their bigger ones. The Thin Gray Line, Are You Going to See the Rose in the Vase or the Dust on the Table? For the Last Time, New Chains, Same Shackles, Napoleon, and To Those I Love, Thanks for Sticking Around, Antarctica, Matte Black, and Fucking Your Culture. So, I kind of liked it. They were good. They weren't bad. They were not bad. They definitely were another level than these other guys. I liked the originality of them. I liked their passion, and their music was good. A lot of it sounded not the same, but I don't know. It was good. I was prepared to give them like a 7 out of 10 and give the show like a 6.6 out of 10 because I had to sit through those openers. But what ended up happening was on the drive home, she was a little upset because she was going through songs that she loves. She said they're a little bit older, but they were their biggest hits, which were Paris, Secondhand, Kill Yourself, Part 3, and a couple others, which she said were their biggest songs, and they didn't play them. That made me mad. Not just because I don't know the songs. I don't care whether they played them or not. But again, it goes back to, and I've said it in my other reviews, you know, man, especially you're playing arenas. God bless you. Good for you. But you got to play your hits, man. You got to play your big hits. When you don't have too many huge hits, you should be playing them, at least 2 of them, for the fans. She said they played a lot of their newer stuff. So I don't understand why they did that. So for that, it bothers me, and it bothers me when large bands do it. When large bands don't play 1 or 2 of the songs that I was so excited to hear, it bothers me. It pisses me off. So I'm going to drop the review down. I think overall for the night, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I like SuicideBoys. I thought I would like really dread it and hate it. I thought they were pretty entertaining. The other guys, not for me. Not for me. None of this stuff is for me. But who am I to say? I really feel like a grandpa doing this review. I'm sure some people will spit back. But it is what it is. Maybe I'm at that age. Maybe I'm at that turning point now where, you know, when you were a little kid and your dad tried to shove some of this old music down your throat and you're just like, what is this crap? Maybe I'm there. Maybe I don't get this younger music, but I'm going to stick by my guns because at least my dad's grandpa's music, it all sounded different. And even from one band, if you go into one single band, their songs sounded different. They had ballads, they had rock songs, they had pop songs. And these big bands that have stood the test of time, they're still playing 50, 60 years later, 40 years later. Their music is still catchy. It's still on the radio. It's still unique. You can hear a song and be like, oh, that's the Rolling Stones. But within their catalog of music, everything sounded different. It wasn't this one 808 beat or whatever beat's going on in the background. And it wasn't this like, hey, 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 you know, put your hands up, hey, hey. It's the same thing for everybody. So I hope if this music can morph itself into these artists where they can expand out of their little pocket, but hey, their pocket works for them. It's making them rich, and the kids don't seem to mind. They're happy with it. So God bless them. So I'm sticking to my guns on this. Thanks for listening. I'm sure there's some people that are going to fucking come after me on this one, but it's all good. I hope this review is entertaining. It's very hard to review stuff where you don't know anything going on. I don't know anything, but that is my review of An Old Man at a Suicide Boys show. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next show. Bye-bye.